Hello everybody and welcome back. This is another F1 TS Hub video and we are here for team and teammate selection. The drivers have been busy putting pens to paper and I've got Jamie alongside me, the head of teams. Jamie, we've got a lot of pre-contractual agreements between these guys.
Yes, most active one, which is good to see. This is the
Good.
first tier also to fill all 10 seats as well.
So they must be raring to go next Friday at 9 p.m. Of course, our top tier, who were they on qualifying night they were separated by just 8/10 of a second the entire grid. So it's going to be pretty close out there, especially come Austria, such a short track.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. I mean, we could see it feels like about half a second or something like that around Austria. So if you make a mistake, you're going to drop 3 or 4 rows in the grid, I think.
You definitely are, and so what we're going to do tonight is, as we've done for the previous two tiers, podium and pinnacle tiers have both been decided, and now it's time for the big boys to put pen to paper if they haven't already. Jamie, how was you mentioned they filled up and got signed up the quickest out of all three tiers? Were there a lot of applicants?
Yeah, there was. There was a lot of applicants. Yeah. I had a bit of an issue with Ferrari and Mercedes, but thankfully one of the drivers applied for Ferrari, so that got resolved without having to ask someone to apply for another team. Mm.
So good stuff. I did hear that a lot of these drivers were applying for multiple teams. So obviously they
Yeah, they
wanted to
were,
keep their
yeah.
options open.
That said a lot of messages out.
Good stuff. Well, these are our 20 quickest drivers at F1 TS Hub, and let's just quickly run down who has been signed. And perhaps, Jamie, you could just explain why you decided, or the team decided, to sign that driver. So we've got MLA, who was signed for Ferrari after winning the Constructors with Mercedes last season. So yeah, a bit of controversy there, right up at the top. But Techno Thriller, he's signed for Force India, moving up from the Pinnacle tier. Malloy is signed for the Haas team. Podium tier. Yeah, he's moved up from the bottom one. Mali has signed for McLaren Honda. Tempfear, on his return since Season 6, has signed for the defending Constructors Champions of Mercedes. Odems has signed for Red Bull. James Slater has signed for his trusty Renault. D. Fletcher has signed for Sauber. Switchy has signed for Toro Rosso. And then you've got the podium tier champion from last season, who has stayed with Williams. Pretty exciting lineup there, Jamie.
Yeah, it's a lot of really good drivers there. Firstly, MLA with Ferrari, as I said before, him and Tempfear both wanted the Mercedes drive, and both were perfect for Mercedes drive. And I was about to message one of them saying that I was going to reject from Mercedes and offer the Ferrari seat, but thankfully MLA, I was about to send a message, but thankfully MLA applied for Ferrari, so I was able to resolve that issue. Techno Thriller, the podium tier driver last season, arguably the quickest driver in podium tier last season, but he had a lot of issues with controllers and DNFs. But his qualifying time was really impressive, and he could surprise a few people. Meloy in the Haas, I believe he got the second quickest time in the qualifying night,
Yep,
so
that's correct.
that's really impressive. And he raced a bit last season, and he showed really good form. Mali in the McLaren. Mali was really quick last season. He could have won a few races, but it didn't happen for him in the end, and he stayed in McLaren, even though I didn't think he liked McLaren, but I'm quite surprised he stuck with them. 10th year in the Mercedes. No, 10th year, he raced back in what seasons did he race in? It's before my time, but
Season 5 and 6, and he won the both titles in Season 5, winning every single race in the calendar that season. And then with Williams, he raced with in Season 6.
yeah, he's got 12 wins, it says here, and Jono doesn't seem that happy he got the Mercedes seat, and I noticed in our little management chat, so maybe a bit of rivalry between them two in the past. Odems and the Red Bull. Odems, everyone knows about Odems. He's super quick on his day, but can he race the whole season? If he can, he's going to be a major contender for the title. In Renault, we have James Slater. James Slater last season was Mr. Consistent. He finished fourth place. I think he got a point in most races, in every race, I think. And he'd be looking to spring a surprise or two this season. Maybe he can get his first podium this season. I know he's desperate for that, and Renault were very happy to keep hold of him. In Sauber, we've got D. Fletcher. He, he he's a rookie, and he was very keen for the Sauber seat. He messaged me right on team announcement he wanted the Sauber seat, so I guess he's very happy to drive for that team. In the Toro Rosso, we've got Switchy, again another rookie. Be interesting to see how he goes. But anyone's qualified for this tier is obviously a really, really quick driver. And in the Williams, we've got our reigning world champion in podium tier, Kian, part of the F1 tier sub esports team along with MLA. Again, he showed a really good lap in qualifying night, and it's time to see how he does against the big boys.
Speaking of the big boys, let's run through who has picked who. So we can reveal that MLA, who is racing for Ferrari this season, that's going to be strange to get used to, has, surprise, surprise, picked Sean. So they will be teaming up again. Of course, they won the Constructors' Championship last time out in Season 10 with Mercedes. So now they're going to go head-to-head with their former team and try and bring one home for Ferrari.
I think Sean is going to miss the Mercedes hospitality, but Ferrari are delighted to have them two on board. Two really good drivers, possible championship contenders.
So Techno Thriller in the Force India, he has signed up Fletcher Boy, and they'll be teaming up. So Fletcher Boy, a rookie, of course, to F1 TS Hub, but showed plenty of pace on qualifying night. Malloy in the Haas, he has chosen Noik, who of course had a really strong end to the season when he joined F1 TS Hub at the end of Season 10, and I think a couple of... Carry on.
So he arguably could have won the last two races, but I think he messed both up. So yeah, he'd be really strong this season.
Yeah, he got a couple of poles towards the end. We've got Temp Fear, who of course, as we mentioned, signed for Mercedes, and he has taken Charles with him. So for those of you who don't know, Charles is Flair, what he raced under last season. So again, that is another strong lineup. Odems signed for Red Bull. That'll be him and Liquor Blocks again. We've got such a strong field here. It's going to be almost impossible to predict, who's going to come out on top. James Slater, this is a last minute. This just came in. He has signed Black Mamba with Renault, so those two will be driving for the Renault team. D. Fletcher in the Sauber, of course, hasn't yet selected a teammate. Switchy in the Toro Rosso, he will be teaming up with Julian. Of course, they are both new, so both be looking to make a good start on their first race at F1 TS Hub in Austria next week. And then finally, our podium tier champion, drivers champion last season, Kian, who's improved pace dramatically, has stolen Skeven. So again, JB, that's another strong lineup.
Yeah, I know all these drivers are really quick. I've seen them race in other leagues, and it's just interesting to see how they all do. And it's just anyone can win a race. It's ridiculous. In one race you could be at the front, and one race you could be at the back. It's interesting.
Yeah, definitely. So we're hearing that Mali's messaged me saying that he wants to team up with BSAS. So we'll just wait for BSAS to see whether he's okay with that. Of course, BSAS, the champion, of course, of the Pinnacle tier last season, and he took it in dramatic fashion in Brazil.
That was a really strong team, McLaren. That's true.
So we'll wait to see. And again, another strong team. This constructors battle is going to be just as close this season, as the drivers' championship for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
So what is the champion going to do? We'll give him a minute. If we don't hear anything, then we will team those two up together, which of course will leave D. Fletcher and It's Heskey Time. So It's Heskey Time hasn't raced since Season 7, I believe. So he's making his return to F1 TS Hub. And I remember racing against him, Jamie, and he was quick. He wasn't anyone to mess around with.
It's good to see drivers returning. It's nice to see. Yeah.
Does that mean you're planning your comeback, Jamie?
If I find another 2 seconds of pace, maybe.
Good stuff. All right. Well, it looks like BSAS and Mali will be teaming up in the McLaren, which will leave It's Heskey Time, as you mentioned, with Fletcher in the Sauber. So Jamie, we're done and dusted here on team selection,
Yes,
team and
nice,
teammate
nice
selection
kick off.
night. And this tier, as I mentioned in previous streams, 0.8 of a second was separated. And it's all about to kick off next week at 9 p.m. You'll have Alan back for commentary, of course. So we're looking forward to having him back live commentating on the races. And what's Bisas saying now? He's posted
Accepted
in the
it.
chat. He's accepted. So
Yes, that's good
there
to
we have
see.
it. Teams confirmed. MLA and Sean in the Ferrari. Techno Thriller and Fletcher Boy in the Force India. Malloy and Nowick in the Haas. In the McLaren, we've got Mally and Bisas. In the Mercedes, we've got Tempfear and Charles. In the Red Bull, we've got Odems and Little Block. In the Renault, we've got James Slater and Black Mamba. In the Sauber, we've got Fletcher and, of course, I've lost my spreadsheet. Fletcher and it's Heskey time. And then in the Toro Rosso, we've got Switchy and Julian, of course, both new drivers. And then in the Williams, we have Kian and also Skeven. So pretty exciting there, Jamie. And I know you enjoyed the contract signing with these guys. So I'm going to enjoy even more the races this season. 12 races, of course, to decide who's going to be the Constructors' Champion and who's going to be the Drivers' Champion. Can Bisas defend his title? Will the new Ferrari boys make it 2 out of 2? Find out next week, 9 p.m. in Austria. Best of luck from myself, the entire F1 TS Hub team, and go out and enjoy Season 11. Thank you very much.
Yeah, good evening, good night.